Hello, it's Freddie and Nancy, right here in Malmö. Nightmare in Malmö. Well, you know, Heather and I are ready to answer any and all questions about our careers. And, you know, it's not just Freddie and Nancy. We've done tons of stuff. Heather was a busy actress before and after the first Nightmare and did several television series and stuff, and as well as me. So if you guys want to ask us any questions about our careers, or I think, you know, within reason, our personal lives. You know, Heather doesn't like to talk about her espionage work. But other than that...
Don't you think this is a perfect job for being a spy? You go to all these different cities of the world. I thought we could pass secrets.
Well, I talked to a fan yesterday that is working on a script about the conventions. And one of his ideas was, what if you were in Malmö or in Gothenburg at a convention and you got the best of the Star Wars memorabilia, maybe the original Boris Karloff makeup or the bolts from his neck or something, or his jacket, great stuff from other famous movies that we all love, Raiders of the Lost Ark and things like that. And what if there was a caper? It was a caper film. What if somebody stole these, you know, like Smithsonian quality, museum quality artifacts from our favorite films and made it into a caper film? I mean, that's interesting too. I mean, it's a wonder. I see so much cool stuff at the dealer's stalls, you know, and I always worry about, like, what if somebody, you know, just stuck some of that stuff away, because I know how valuable a lot of that is.
A Freddy glove.
A Freddy?
The original Freddy glove.
Yeah.
That would be very valuable.
Yeah, it would be. I think I know where that one is. Okay, so we'll just, I mean, I see you out there. You've got a mic for the audience? Almost. Oh, all right. We have a technological error.
We could do a poll. Why don't we poll the audience? Their favorite Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, what do we think? How many people like Nightmare 1? Raise your hand as the best. Well, I think it won.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
Yeah, you know, it's strange, because I'm going to tell you, I think if I had to bet money on it, over the years, I think part 3. Yeah. But I will say this, my favorite now is part 7.
That's because we're old.
Well, it's also because it really holds up. And it was ahead of its time when it came out.
Yeah.
Now we're ready? Questions? Okay, who's got a question?
This gentleman.
Was there any truth to the actual new Nightmare movie, actually, that the actors were actually afraid of the inner demons they had from the original Nightmare on Elm Street?
Heather, you answer that, because Heather worked on the script with Wes.
Yeah, I had talked to, well, I didn't have inner demons from Nightmare, but at the time I had a stalker who was making my life really miserable. And I told Wes that I was considering just giving it all up, and giving up everything and just hiding out somewhere. And I think Wes really liked that idea that because of what I had done in my career, I was now having this person, you know, intruding into my life. And so he translated that to Freddie intruding into my life, and then he had him intrude into everyone's life that he had come into contact with. And so I don't think I was the germ of that idea, but I know that our discussions led Wes to think of that as an idea.
And Heather's husband is a makeup man in real life.
Right, so he's a makeup artist. And
Heather's
we're always
mom.
on sets, you know, and he's always going here and there to do jobs.
And he works in scary movies too, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And Heather had just had a son.
And I had a son, so there was a lot up there. That was actually my life.
And there were earthquakes.
There was an earthquake. That earthquake really did happen when we were shooting, and that was the most bizarre sequence of events ever that I've been...
What I love to tell about Nightmare 7 is it was great for Heather and John Saxon and myself and Wes, because it was 10 years to the day from the first one. And we were all really successful in '94 when we made that film. And it was great to see each other again, and we'd all had great success, a renaissance in our careers. But the scene that was cut, one of the things that I loved that attracted me to the script originally, plus all the stuff with Heather, was Robert Englund was haunted by the success of Freddy. And there was a sequence where I'm in bed with my wife, and I'm asleep and I'm tossing and turning. I'm having a nightmare. And we go into the nightmare, and it's Robert Englund in a spider web, homage to the original Fly, the Fly film. And I'm cocooned in a spider web, and a giant spider is coming down at me. And instead of having the red spot on his belly of a black widow, he's striped red and green on his belly, like Freddy's sweater. And it was like it was a fantasy, surreal sequence. I just thought it was so cool. And I wanted to do, help me, like the original Fly, you know. And with apologies to David Cronenberg. Yeah, we just didn't have enough money for that sequence. I always regret not getting to shoot that. More questions?
Over there.
You need a skateboard.
The girl in the dirty brown hat.
Move it! Oh, it's a Freddy hat. I like them. Freddiettes. He likes the Freddiettes.
What do you think of the new version of the first film? Do you like it, or?
You know, I haven't seen it yet, and I decided not to see it because, I mean, frankly, I have a lot of, I don't know, nostalgia. To bring in a new Freddy into my imagination, I just couldn't bear that idea. So I only want this Freddy in my life.
Years ago, I did a film. You know, we actors get blasé. We say, you know, you did your soap opera, you did your family TV series. You know, we all have these jokes about certain phases of our lives. You know, when I played bad guys or best friends or sidekicks or Southerners. And when I was in my sidekick stage, I did a film which I call my Vietnam movie. And I did it in the Philippines. And we worked with all of the orphans from Saigon that had been moved out of Vietnam to the Philippines. And the actor that starred in that movie had just won the British Academy Award for a film called Breaking Away. And it dealt with the sort of subtle class distinction in America between like college kids and kids that can't get into college in a small town, and the boys and the heroes, the townies, the boys that didn't go to college. They romanticized themselves as bicycle racers, European bicycle racers, Tour de France bicycle racers, only they're obsessed with the Italian team. And one of the boys was the first movie or second movie for Dennis Quaid. One of the other boys in this movie was Jackie Earle Haley, who you know, is now taking the baton to play Freddy. And he's wonderful in it. And in fact, he invents the slacker character, the dude character, like, you know, man, like I'm stoned all the time kind of guy. Before Sean Penn and before Keanu Reeves did it. Although I think Keanu's really more like that than it is acting. Because he's kind of a Hawaiian surfer dude anyway. But Jackie's been on my radar. You know, Bad News Bears wasn't really my kind of movie, so I knew he was in that, but I didn't really care. But that movie I liked very much. And then I saw Jackie in Watchmen, and I think he's the best thing in Watchmen. Again, I'm not a big fan of that movie, but I love Jackie. And he's about the best thing in Shutter Island. If you've seen the Scorsese film, he does a great rock and roll turn as a crazy criminal in the jail. So I was really happy that Jackie got the part. I think the problem with the movie is they remade it too soon. I think that the powers to be at Warner Brothers and Michael Bay's people at Platinum Dune, they just didn't realize that between the DVDs and the Blu-rays and video and it constantly circulating in rotation, the Nightmare movies on cable, broadcast without commercials, that the film is into its second or third generation of fans now. And I don't think they realized just how many people were familiar with all 8 of the movies that we've done. And then the other problem is, I heard this only as gossip, but they reshot the whole beginning. They were having problems with the movie. It didn't test well at all, and people really hated it. And they shot the new beginning. And when they recut it, you never see the kids happy. They're already haunted. They're already scarred and possessed by Freddy when the movie starts. So that you never get to see them happy-go-lucky. You never get to, you know, skip over the bridge in Venice with Johnny Depp and Heather Langenkamp.
In the Cadillac.
Yeah,
no, it's
that
interesting
first
because
kid.